Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Children of Morta. As you can see, I'm already in the menu. I'm in the menu in the hopes that when I'm on the menu screen, hopefully the frame rate issues that plague the recordings when I'm on the general house screen aren't here in the menu. And in any event, even if there are frame rate issues, it's literally just one screen, so it shouldn't be relevant. But that's enough about that. Enough about the technical issues. Let's talk about this episode. And this episode is going to be a pretty momentous occasion because I'm just gonna tell you right now, we are gonna finish the game in this episode. I don't remember exactly how long it takes. I have beaten the game already, several times actually, and while I remember the final sequence and, the final boss fight and everything pretty well, my memory when it comes to the other things that lead up to it's a little bit more fuzzy, so it might take a while. I don't imagine it'll be super long, but either way, I plan on doing the entire thing in one episode. And, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it.
Their final destination was on the other side of that gate. The ending was nigh.
As I suspected, clicking on the chapter select screen did give us a short cutscene, showing us that having cleared all of these three areas, a portal in the center of this structure here seems to have opened. So let's click on it.
Whose territory, the domain of the corrupt deity of the mountain, is the final step.
We get some more narration, and yeah. Let's just confirm there's only one area here that we can go to. And luckily Lucy doesn't have any of the fatigue that John currently has because she's had some time to rest. So we're just gonna go with Lucy. We're gonna go with the strongest family member, certainly the one that I am the most comfortable playing with. We are going in with the maximum of every possible boost from the animal shelter. In addition to that, we have every possible family trait unlocked. You can see their symbols above the roster of people. Right above them, the various symbols you see are the different family traits, each of them giving us another passive bonus, and we're going in with all of those benefits. We are, of course, going in alone. But not quite alone, as you will soon see. Alright, we are now in the gameplay screen, meaning there shouldn't be any frame rate issues from now on, unless if I open a menu. Let's talk to all of these three spirits, the ones who we spent a lot of time getting to. The bulk of the game was, in fact, going to the three different lands and then communicating with these guys. Let's talk to them. Let's talk to them in order, starting with you. Oh, you don't have anything to say, you're just gonna give us stuff. That's good. Attack damage increases with the number of gemstones possessed. Well, we start with 2, so we get a bit of attack damage. That's good. What are you gonna give us? A totem that greatly buffs us. I don't use this one that often just because it also increases your maximum health, and it often tricks me into thinking that the temporary bonus is indeed my actual health, and it just throws me off. But it is a nice thing, it buffs damage too, so might as well hold on to that. And this is another activated thing, so we can create a trap that poisons enemies, which will damage them and reduce their attack power. Okay, with all of these in our possession, the only way we can go seems to be upwards. And the longer I go without seeing...
On the throne, the mountain god U himself, without Rheadena's love, the darkness had swollen inside him, consuming and uncontainable.
What I was gonna say was the longer I go without finding enemies, the more nervous I get, but we didn't have long to go at all. And as you can see, we have, well, our family members to the left and to the right that are doing something. It's hard to see what exactly is going on. It's possible that I won't get this on the first try because it is a challenging boss fight with some familiar mechanics, but some new things in terms of what he does, how quickly he does it, and so on. Uh-oh, and he's already taken down our shield. I'm gonna have to start dodging. We are slowly regenerating. We need to remember that. Uh-oh, uh-oh. When he does that, he launches those projectiles that go straight. When he does that, and I got hit by it the second time, didn't do a great job. Oh, and I am not doing a great job of dodging those. We didn't get great divine items from those 3 spirits, to be honest. If I'm being, you know, genuine and giving my true opinion, they could have given us better stuff. Like Pashmalu the Great would have been nice.
And without Rheadena's love, jealousy would swallow her children.
Okay, one thing I've got to remember that Lucy has is a passive... Oh, no, what am I doing? I messed up. Where am I? Oh, he froze me. I need to remember that Lucy has a passive ability that will basically allow her to defy death, but only once. And after that, well, that is your one life, and once you use it up, if you die, you're dead. Uh-oh, I'm being an idiot again. Okay, I've thrown down my decoy, hopefully this guy goes towards it. And leaves me alone. Oh my god, this is very intense. And he's doing more of that. He's gonna do this, and I got hit by it like a fool. Like a fool. Oh, he is angry. He's not happy. I guess he's still upset about that whole situation. What are you doing? Okay. Okay, let's hold it together. If I don't get it on the first try, it's okay. I will try again. But it is hard for me to see myself beating this with anyone other than Lucy. Okay, now it seems to be
heavy as iron and difficult to breathe in. The air burned their lungs. It was pitch black. The light meant protection and hope. And the Bergson had to rescue the others as well.
okay. So gone into this phase, which I was wondering when it would happen. Now we need to stay.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Okay, I'm trying to give the narrator his time to speak, but I also need to explain what's going on. So while we're in this protective little bubble, we regenerate health pretty quickly. Outside of this, we are gonna be in bad shape, so we need to stay in here as best as we can, and as we move around, we will find our other family members. I think we should be coming towards another one of them soon. But yeah, that first phase of the boss fight, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it. I think I pretty much brute forced my way through it, just on account of how overpowered Lucy is. And honestly, I have no shame about abusing OP characters. And as you can see, we're rescuing people, but they are just
The rest of the family had to be saved.
they are just going away without without helping us. We don't need too much help because we do have very high regeneration in these protective bubbles, but nonetheless, it would be nice if they stuck around to at least help us fight. Now, the second spirit, the one we rescued in Barahut in the desert, is, after having taken over from the first spirit, leading us this way, and I think we're soon gonna be coming across some more family members. I'll periodically stop and shoot. The only thing that makes it tricky with Lucy is that
Yet another light, fending off the darkness.
she can't. Okay, she can't move while shooting like Linda can, so she has to.
Final battle was nearing its end.
She has to stand still while she shoots, which is a bit of an issue with those constantly moving protective bubbles. Okay, what have we accomplished?
Bergsons knew that this was the final step. Love must prevail over hatred.
Okay, yeah, now I think this guy's gonna have a bad time because everybody's here. I'm just gonna throw down a decoy. But as you can see, he's gone down. Is there another phase? Is there another phase? Maybe yes, maybe no.
The Supreme One, master of all and master of nothing. His greatest fear was made absolute. He was left alone. Left alone to his misery and failure, to the unending cycle of despair and pain. He wished for its end, wished to bathe in an eternal darkness.
Wow, looks like
Mercy prevailed as the wheel had turned back to kindness. That which was expelled from the heart returned.
okay, I was gonna say, well, looks like there isn't gonna be a second phase after all.
All the time apart melting away, along with all the pain, all the sadness, and all the misery. Land met sky, two became one. Love ignited rapture as innocence flooded the space between breaths. Happiness and curiosity weaved, mixed, and tangled in a dance, a millennium in coming. As the one ascended, but will never leave, a family looked upon the mountain and land over which they were given ward. A family left exhausted was now more complete than before. A god once stricken with grief was now whole. And a land once cast into chaos was now left in serene balance. As the story comes to its conclusion, remember this. When the time spent in this land is looked back upon, when daring feats are recited along with victories and defeats, remember that it was not a tale of heroes or villains, nor of good and evil, but one of family, and above all else, a tale of love. Go now, Guardian, and never forget.
Yeah, so we're done. Sorry I took a long pause there, not just to allow the narrator to finish off what he had to say about the story, but also because the music right at the end was really, really good. So I just wanted to listen to it for a bit. And now we have the credits, and I am gonna let them play in their entirety, although they might take long, so at a certain point I might just stop talking and just let them play. But yeah, one thing the credits do give me a chance to, and which often tends to be the case with Let's Plays, is that it's a chance to reflect on the game. It's a nice moment of catharsis. Like, you're not just immediately thrown back into the game interface. It's a time to reflect. Alright. Right. Sorry about that. I had to turn my mic down because someone was walking by my window with a very loud gardening tool. That's the one thing I don't like about this place, but anyway, you're not here to hear about my troubles. Let's just talk about this game. So, yes. I really enjoyed this game a lot, as evidenced by the fact that I'm doing a Let's Play after having already beaten the entire game twice. Once on normal mode, and once on New Game Plus. And now I've done it for a third time just now. And, I'll begin by acknowledging some things that weren't ideal over the course of the series. Number one being the frame rate issue, and I once again have to emphasize that this isn't a thing that actually happens in the game. The game itself runs fine. In fact, it took me a while to even learn that there were frame rate issues, because the only way I learned of them was by reviewing recordings after I had already played. So the game itself is fine. I think that was just an issue brought on due to an unusual interaction between OBS, which is my recording software, and my AMD graphics card. At least that is my current suspicion. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the actual game. And I already talked about how I love the game, although At times, you may have noticed me get a bit frustrated at points and criticize the game design. And, no game is perfect. Every game has issues, but I think the frustration was more due to me getting killed or me failing some important objective, and that just magnified, what I perceived to be a flaw in the game. It happens in any game, even in Hades, which is not just my favorite roguelike, but possibly my favorite game of all time. Even it has minor imperfections, and when those small flaws in the game coincide with you getting killed, it can tend to get you a little bit heated and feel some things that, when you reflect on them after having reflected on it a bit more rationally, you realize, yeah, okay, I was being a bit harsh in the game, and certainly that was the case for that one side quest. I think the point of the quest was to get a souvenir, but in order to get it, you had to complete a mini objective where you had to guide a boy to his mother, and the boy was programmed that he would only go in a straight line. And that that annoyed me, because that was constantly resulting in the boy getting killed. And other than that, I think there was one minor thing where the camera would often pan away to show you a vista, but sometimes in the locations where that happened, you'd have enemies, and so the camera would be panning away while combat was still going on. And that was another thing. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to pause things a little bit. Okay, so I had to briefly mute the mic again, just because the loud person was once again going past my window. But hopefully they're gone for good now. So yes, apart from those very small blemishes, I had very little in the way of criticism for the game, and a lot to like. Now, having gotten those minor nitpicks out of the way, let's talk about everything I liked about this game. I think what I liked the most was just the aesthetic and the feel that you got while playing, and that's why I felt really bad not being able to show you those little things that happened on the screen while you're in the hub house area, because that, I think, is what really made the game come alive for me. Every time you rescued someone, every time you found something, it would show up in the house. And the things you found, I should say not the things, but like the entities, including the wolf cub, they would then not just be in the house, but they would start doing their own thing, interacting with other family members. The astronomer as well, when you brought him back, the house would essentially become his new home. You'd see him going around doing his thing. And my favorite are probably those 3 automatons that we rescued in the 3rd area. They are just the cutest things. I like them so much. And while I was off screen, I enjoyed watching them do their thing. But of course, I couldn't show them that much on screen because of that unfortunate issue with the recording having a low frame rate issue. One thing I just want to check, just give me a moment. Okay, so I just had to confirm whether the credits were being recorded at a reasonable frame rate, and it looks like OBS isn't having too much trouble with that, so not too worried about this. It would have been awkward if the credits were also on a low frame rate. Well, let's just not even think about that. Let's just be glad that it's going fine for now. And let's talk a little bit about the credits, because right now we are looking at all of the Kickstarter backers, and I know from speaking to a few people and from watching other Let's Plays, people have mixed feelings about this, about credits including your crowdfunding contributors, mainly because it just makes the credits very, very long. I'm... Well, I do see why it would make the credits feel longer than some people are used to, but at the same time, crowdfunding is a reality of how a lot of things are financed in our current world. And on top of that, I do think in a lot of the cases, for a lot of the contributions, one of the rewards you get for certain tiers is that your name will appear in the credits. So I don't know for a fact whether that was the case for these guys, but for a lot of the cases, they are literally just fulfilling one of their obligations by putting the backers in the credits. And for me, I personally am okay with it. I mean, if the credits run too long, could always just, you know, fast forward the rest of them, or what I will do is I will put a timestamp in the video. Oh, looks like we might be coming towards the end of them because the names have stopped rolling and now we are just seeing some additional tools they used. And oh, looks like that was it. Looks like that was the end. So we didn't even have to sit through credits for too long. Okay, New Game Plus has been unlocked. I was waiting for this because one thing I want to do before I go into my kind of wrapping up phase is I want to quickly go to the difficulty. I want to confirm to you that we are still on hard mode. We've been on hard mode the whole time, despite how quickly that final fight ended. Now, the fight would have lasted longer if we were in New Game Plus, because every enemy gets a buff. That said, I don't know if I'm gonna do New Game Plus, and I'm leaning towards not doing it, because the last time I did New Game Plus, all it did was it allowed you to replay the game in a higher difficulty. It didn't add new encounters. The reason I don't want to do this again is because when you restart the game, you lose all of your souvenirs. You lose all of the little people that you found that were hanging around the house. And I don't want to lose them for a fourth time, right? Because this is the third time that I'm playing the game. The third time that I've finished the game from scratch, and I don't want to have to do all of that a fourth time. So unless I can somehow find confirmation that there's something new to find in New Game Plus, I don't think I'll be doing a New Game Plus playthrough on screen. And if I do it, I think I'll just put out a bonus video where I've already done it off screen, and then I show you what new things there are that I happen to find in New Game Plus. But again, I'm leaning towards not doing it. The other thing, let us now return to the title screen. Because one thing I want to show you before I start wrapping up this video is I want to go over to the... I'm not going to click on it, I'm not going to select it just yet, but I want to hover, or I want to have this family trials mode highlighted. Because when I started my Let's Play, I mentioned that what prompted me to do it was the fact that family trials had recently come out. And I wanted to do family trials mode, but I didn't want to just do that in a, like, disjointed way without having done the rest of the game first. So I wanted to do a normal Let's Play, and doing the normal Let's Play would also remind me how the different characters worked. And when I did start Family Trials, I wouldn't be as rusty. Now, I do plan on doing Family Trials. I haven't spoiled myself on what's in it just yet. But before I start on that, I think I'm going to take a bit of a break. Might be even a longish break. The main reason is because I want to see whether maybe either OBS is going to put out some updates, or Windows, or maybe even AMD. I want to give all of these kind of software systems a chance to update themselves. And that, of course, is in the hopes that maybe that would resolve any potential issues that arise when I'm recording this footage. But my hope and my strong suspicion is that the frame rate issue is something that will only happen in the main story mode, and that it won't happen in other modes. And indeed, even in story mode, when I started a new save, it wasn't happening there. So it seemed like it was just some odd thing that happened midway through one particular save. So I'm really hoping that when I do start Family Trials, I don't have any issues. And I could, of course, test it myself, but the problem is I don't want to spoil myself. When I start Family Trials, I want it to be going into it fresh and seeing all of these things for the first time, and even doing a bit of testing for the purpose of seeing whether it records properly. I think that would end up spoiling quite a bit of it for me. So in lieu of that, I'm just gonna wait a while, give all of these things a chance to update, and then I'm going to Family Trials after that. Okay, so with all of that done, I think we are finally at the end of this video. It ended up being a lot shorter than I thought it would be. I guess for some reason I was expecting there to be more kind of segments before the final boss fight. Instead, we got thrown straight into the boss fight. We had one phase fighting the boss, then one phase running around, and then a third awesome phase where we fought the boss with everyone helping us out and made an absolute mockery of that guy. And after we won, we had a happy ending where, the Bergsons at the end were just staring out over, the balcony or whatever. They were looking down upon this land that they had rescued. And it was a very hopeful, uplifting note to end this game on. And it filled my heart with a lot of joy the first time I played, and even now, it just felt really good to see that, and I hope it felt good for you watching it as well. So, with all of that said, that's brought an end to this Let's Play. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next projects that we're gonna get up to on this channel. So, until then, take care.